Your Honors, I did not forge any relationship with them to back me in 2007. First and foremost, I was neither a candidate for the presidency in 2007. And secondly, like I said, in joining Kibaki's own campaign, the bulk of the support of our party, KANU, was outside the central region of Kenya. And hence, even in participating in the campaign, the areas that were the key focus of myself and the team were the areas where traditionally KANU had support, and those were outside the central region of Kenya. So I did not need, even for the sake of the presidential campaign, to have any contact or link with Mungiki whatsoever.
Now, did you task a former KANU MP as a responsible commander for the recruitment, mobilization and payment of pro-PN youth to participate in retaliatory attacks in Naivasha and Nakuru from the officers belonging to KANU?
I have never, Your Honors, tasked any person to mobilize or recruit Mungiki for any activity whatsoever.
The allegation from the prosecution that we heard was that people were turning pro-PNU youth, making them all adopt the Mungiki creed, so to speak, and be converted to it, initiated into it. Was that anything to do with you, if that took place?
Your Honors, I am not aware of any attempt to turn pro-PNU youth into Mungiki. Like I said, the PNU and KANU itself was operating largely outside of central Kenya. And it is like to say that all the youth who were supporting the presidential election of Mwai Kibaki were Kikuyus, which is far from the truth, because President Kibaki did get support and did have supporters who were youth from very many parts of the country. So that would in itself not be a possibility. I believe the leader of the presidential youth campaign himself did not come from central Kenya. I think he was from the Kamba region. So I see no possibility or connection of PNU supporters being turned into Mungiki supporters, or being recruited into Mungiki for that matter.
The prosecution have put forward a body called Pro-PN Youth, PNU Youth, after the election as being an entity in existence that was mobilized for retaliatory and revenge attacks. Was there such an entity as Pro-PNU Youth?
Your Honors, like I said earlier, the entity that I was aware of was not called Pro-PNU Youth. The entity that I was aware of, that our own youth leader joined when we formed that coalition to support President Kibaki, was the Kibaki Tena group. I am not aware of any other youth grouping that was central to President Kibaki's re-election bid.
Did you create a network of local pro-PNU government officials, businessmen, local politicians to provide funding, transport, accommodation, uniforms, weapons, logistical support to the Mungiki and pro-PNU youth to carry out coordinated attacks?
Your Honors, I think I need to repeat again, first and foremost, when we joined KANU, when we joined the presidential election bid of Mwai Kibaki, we joined as KANU. and hence we retained our structures as KANU. Therefore, we did not have any pro-PNU or pro-this. We had Kibaki supporters who were supporting Kibaki's presidential re-election campaign, and we had supporters of our own candidates for parliamentary and civic seats throughout the country. So that was the focus that we had. So we could not now convert that. Like I said, KANU was a party that, and this is borne testimony by the fact that even in the 2007 elections, the majority of seats that we won were outside of central Kenya. That is what we brought to President Kibaki's campaign. Parliamentary seats and presidential votes largely outside of central Kenya.
Fundraising, did you take part in meetings where prominent people, including yourself, were doing fundraising for purposes of raising money to, or just have meetings, forget the money, either way, to plan revenge and retaliatory attacks on the other ethnic groups believed to be responsible for violence against PNU people?
Your Honours, I did not participate in any fundraising for any retaliatory actions anywhere. But indeed, Your Honour, I did participate in a number of fundraising activities to assist those who were the victims of the post-election violence. Your Honours, at the time, on the screens, on TV, from phone calls from friends that we had in those regions, the extent of the humanitarian crisis was such that it behoved anybody who had any sympathy, who had any regard for human life, to do what they could to assist those people. And the first such fundraiser I attended was a fundraiser that I put together my own constituents, who raised both money, food and clothing to assist those people. I attended another one where again funds, food and clothing were also contributed again to assist the very same victims. And the last major one I can recall attending was one that was organized by the President himself to raise nationally, again, funds to assist those who had been adversely affected by the post-election violence. This is something I have done over my period of life as a politician and even before I joined politics, and it is something that I will continue to do, Your Honor, because I believe it behoves oneself as a citizen and as a leader to do that which they can in such circumstances.
I'd like you now to look at a video we played earlier in the proceedings. It's EVD PT D13 00130, and there's a transcript at EVD PT D13 00391.
Mtu ambaye anafukuzwa kwa sababu yule ambaye atataka kubaki, na mimi nimesema kwa ukweli, na bwana DC hakikisha ya kwamba kila shamba hapa iko na askari ya kutosha, ndio wale ambao wataona ya kwamba watataka kubaki waweze kubaki wakiwa na usalama.
First of all, could you describe what that scene was? What was happening there?
What was going on was towards the end, can't remember the exact date, but it was towards the end of January, the beginning of February, when people, especially from Central Kenya, especially the Kikuyu, angered by what has been or had been going on in the Rift Valley. There were events where people had begun to retaliate. And so what we had done is, together with other members of parliament, other colleagues in parliament, from across the divide, including even members from the ODM party, we put ourselves together in a group that was multi-ethnic to go around, especially in this particular case. We were at Tigoni, where there were many tea farms where people from outside that area were working, to go first and foremost to calm the people and to stop them from retaliatory attacks, but also to reassure those workers that they were secure and they would be protected and they did not have to leave those particular areas, and they could continue working and resume life as normal. So this was just one of those meetings that we went to. This was now at Tigoni police station, where a number of workers had camped, fearing for their lives.
We saw a long clip yesterday at a place called Kikuyu, and you were addressing a crowd there. Can you tell the court what that particular scene was and why you were there?
Your Honours, I was on that particular day in my office. I had just been appointed a few weeks back as the Minister for Local Government. And as I was doing my normal office work at the time, I was called and informed that there was a major problem brewing in Kikuyu, and if I could join other members of parliament to go and assist in cooling and calming tempers. So I left the office and proceeded to Kikuyu Township, where the problem was, and we proceeded to address the large crowds of youth who were there, and at the time they were trying to enter the Kikuyu police station, where a number of IDPs or let's say non-residents from that particular area were camped. So we were trying to cool them and to calm them and to tell them that that is not the way to seek justice, and to tell them to give the government time, and that the rule of law should be followed, and that justice would be eventually taken on those who were inflicting pain on their own relatives. But the way forward was definitely not to start stopping vehicles and pulling out passengers or attacking people and trying to revenge for themselves. So we were really just trying to calm the people, and I think we succeeded in doing so on that particular occasion. And it was from there that we began now doing the tours to other areas, equally to call for calm and restraint, and to allow the government machinery to take action on those who had aggrieved them, as opposed to them taking what we call at home mob justice, because that we felt was only going to make the situation worse.